So if an entrepreneur is struggling with fear and self-doubt, I would say again, it's about where's that even coming from? We can we can journal about it, we can talk to friends about it, family about it. But until we get to the root cause of this, I think in my experience, there are people who are looking for fast fixes because we live in a world where things just are coming so quickly and there's a lot of saturation and things are just rapidly happening right now. But that's not how this is meant to be for the human psyche. It's not meant to go into this in this fast pace. So there are no quick fixes. But until we go into the root cause of what is going on within us, then we're always going to be in this constant state of self-doubt and fear.
Welcome to this episode of Storypreneurs podcast. Today, we have a truly inspiring guest, Joey Collazo, a mindfulness facilitator, hypnotherapist, and a creative coach who helps individuals find clarity, balance, and purpose in both life and business. Throughout his work in meditation, breathwork, and personal development, Joey has guided countless entrepreneurs in overcoming mental blocks, unlocking creativity, and building success from a place of deep self-awareness. In today's conversation, we will explore how mindfulness, clarity, and emotional resilience can shape the entrepreneurial's journey. Joey, welcome to the show.
Thanks to have me here. Really appreciate it, Seth. I'm looking forward to this opportunity.
At what point did you kind of decide, okay, I want to start helping people and this is what I'm going to do?
The inclination to want to help people started from very early age as well. When I was a kid, it was more about pets and hamsters and gerbils and just wanting to take care of animals. And I felt very connected to animals back then, and I still do to this day. When I was a late teenager, I would say about 18 years of age, I started working as a caregiver for people who have mental and physical disabilities. I didn't know, but that by doing that job was going to be a way of connecting with this inner feeling to want to take care of others, which is what I've done when I was an early age. When I was a little child, my parents suffered from issues with alcohol, and so a lot of times I had to take care of myself from early age when they were emotionally not available for me. So this inclination to take care of other people, or at least to help other people, started within me from an early age. Then it went into caregiving for others and group homes, and I did that for a total of 7 years between New York and California. I worked in hospice as well, which is a very, very difficult place to be in, but I did it. And then after that, started supporting people when it came to sales. So I worked at Best Buy, a big electronics store in the United States, Apple as well, other sales jobs, IT jobs, and so forth. And then when it came out to Tenerife back in 2021, I was doing digital marketing. And about a year after that is when a friend of a friend approached me and said that she has workshops and she's looking for a facilitator or a coach to jump into these workshops and support groups of people. These people are university teachers and staff coming down from mainland Europe through the Erasmus Plus program. And my first group facilitation workshop was March 23rd of 2023. And it has changed my life. I remember being so nervous that day, and I had all this. I went in ChatGPT, and I just went and got this all this a structure and an outline so that I can be absolutely perfect in this workshop. But then I realized that basically all the pages it generated, all the information, I barely went through it, which is really connecting with my intuition and what felt right in that moment, and in using photography of photo cards as a way to support people in these workshops. So that's where it all started. Never planned for it, but that's where it began. And now it's been 2 years later, and now it's kind of spilled over into, I've done some one-to-one coaching and I've done some hypnotherapy with clients before, but I really love this, the group facilitation work, mostly in person because you get to experience through all your five senses.
Do you remember your first client case where you've helped them? Do you remember what that story was about and how you actually helped them?
Yeah, I would say it was when I was doing coaching. I don't do so much coaching now unless it's like just a tool that I use within the workshop setting with people. But I remember, I would say it was one of my first or second coaching clients, and he's a photographer as well, and he wanted to always do like something around coaching for himself. He works in the IT field, and he wanted to do like coaching for creative people, and also maybe go out paddling as well. So go out in lakes and paddle and use that as a metaphor for challenges in one's life through the paddling. And he just never knew where to start, where to go. It was always more of an idea. He showed me his notes. He had all these notes and brainstorming and journaling entries, but that's where it stopped. It stopped just on paper. So going through the process and then realizing by talking to him, it wasn't just about trying to figure out what this outcome is going to be for him as a collaboration within these coaching sessions. But then I also started thinking back to my hypnotherapy training and thinking, all right, what is really holding you back? Right, so let's talk about. So we talked about a lot of personal matters as well. So there was some, I would say, guidance when it came to what happened in his life, both in relationship with family, with intimate partners, to best identify what is blocking them. Because while a lot of the times we think what is blocking us is more of a surface level block, there's a lot of things and in the root cause of things that cause these blockages. And unless we ask the right questions, we won't identify what that is. After going through these coaching sessions with him, then he set up his own photo walk as well, because it was in the winter time in this country, so I wasn't really able to go out paddling. But he did do a photo walk. That's one of his other projects. Organized his photographer friends to come along, and they walked around Germany to take these photos and just have like he has some coaching questions with them. And it was just a beautiful thing to see that he actually was able to materialize this in only a matter of, it was less than 2 months from us initially talking about these things. We actually took whatever he put on paper and he manifested that. He made that actually a reality for himself.
There's a lot of I found this pattern with entrepreneurs as well. There's always something stopping them from even growing and getting even more successful. In your experience, what are the sort of the common root causes for mental blockage? Could it be self-doubt, fear of success? In your experience?
And there could be multiple reasons why an entrepreneur or one would have blockages. I would say a main one is self-acceptance, is accepting oneself for who they are with everything. Right? We may call some of the things we have in our personalities faults, or like there's something wrong with us or something is broken within us, but that is all very untrue. We are complete from within out, and it's a matter of accepting our life experiences. A lot of us stay stuck in the past, stay stuck with maybe people who we think wronged us. Therefore, forgiveness is also a really amazing, powerful element to integrate into one's life. Not that you need to have someone forgive you or ask for their forgiveness, but forgiving them from within and then truly letting that go. So, self acceptance for what is, and then letting go and not resisting. Another thing is resistance. We resist things based on how we think life should be for us. We think that we should have X number of dollars or euros coming in every month. We should have this, maybe, I'm generalizing now, but maybe a certain type of home, a certain type of car, a certain type of partner, certain types of relationships. So we have this fixation as to what it should be. And if things are not that way, then that's where the stress comes in, the overwhelm, sometimes even burnout. If we keep trying to make that a reality and it's not happening, then we cause ourselves to go into this burnout state. And there's no sense in trying to fixate on what hasn't happened yet. It's really about the art or the presence of being in the here and now, accepting for what it is, accepting ourselves, knowing that we are truly worthy of everything. We're full of love. We were born this way. We were born out of love and worthiness. And then somewhere along the lines, as we got older, our caregivers, parents, schooling, maybe even religion taught us otherwise and tried to instill their perspectives and their belief systems onto us. So we got imprinted with all this information, all these ideologies, all these beliefs, and then it become ingrained. When you repeat these over and over in your mind and you keep hearing them from the outside, it just becomes an automatic program within ourselves. And as a matter of, as we get older, to identify that these are just programs, they were put in there. No one forced them in there from birth. They eventually came in there. And now it's a matter of, if it doesn't feel good, we're hitting blockages, well, then it's a matter of just letting go of these things, letting go of these beliefs, and really tuning into ourselves. So doing that inner work first before we try to do any outer connection with other people.
There's a lot of people that are actually struggling to do that, as think they're aware, think they're self-aware, but actually they're repeating the same patterns and the same programs. And I can see that with entrepreneurs as well. As some of the ones that I've spoken to, one of the things that they struggle with is it's kind of sort of this repeated cycle, right, of mistakes. How does one begin to essentially start to reprogram themselves and kind of liberate themselves from these kind of pre-programmed notions?
First being is awareness, self-awareness, being aware of what is going on in our reality right now. And there's a term called cognitive dissonance, and that means that we feel a certain way inside, that we maybe have this intuition or this inner knowing, this inner voice saying that, hey, you should be doing this type of work right now, or maybe you should be talking to this person. But then the outer world, what we do, our actions in the outer world are very different from what's going on within us, that inner voice. And that causes a dissonance, that causes a disconnection between the outer and the inner. So first being is the self-awareness, being aware that, okay, this is what's happening right now. It doesn't feel good, and I want to overcome this. But how do I overcome it, though? There's a lot of tools out there, mindset tools. I happen to use hypnosis as one of the tools. I don't use it all the time. It's more about my intuition as whether or not I feel like the person needs hypnosis in that moment. There's also my wife. She does Reiki as well. She's a Reiki master. So Reiki is a wonderful energetic tool to use. There's cognitive behavior therapy. So there are all these tools. Breathwork is another one to help us. So if we have these blockages, it's about slowing things down. It's about interrupting our thought patterns. Meditation is the way, ultimately, as an ongoing modality, not even a modality, I won't call it a way of living. It's mindful living. But sometimes it's very challenging for one to sit down and meditate, because the origins of meditation is truly just sitting with your thoughts and your emotions and really connecting with the through the senses. And if thoughts come in, emotions come in, and it's not about resisting them, pushing them away, or clinging to them. It's about just being with them and just let them fade away. But sometimes it's hard to get to that point. My particular path started with talk therapy. Back in 2018, I started talk therapy after this massive breakup, and I went through a 3-month medical leave at Apple to do some really deep work. So talk therapy, then it was life coaching around that same time. And then years later, it went into hypnotherapy for me because I learned and received it. And then the hypnotherapy allowed me to reprogram my brain. It allowed me to rewire things. But it's still a very much a mind altering exercise or activity, because you're using the mind to work through some childhood regression, for example. But that's only, again, it's a tool. But then now ultimately it's about transcending from the mind. So then once you're able to pick the tools or experience tools that feel good for you, that's the path. It's nothing that's going to be an overnight success. So it's about using certain tools that you feel aligned with, and it could be other tools that I don't offer that people may resonate with. And then the path is to meditation. Because meditation is to transcend the mind, to know that you are not the mind, you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not even your body. And it's coming from a place of being in pure consciousness. That is the art of ridding oneself of all suffering and blockages.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs that sacrifice a lot of their well-being for success. And it's really in the balance of things. You know, there's a lot of people that they've just got a very, very busy background, and there's a lot of things happening in the background. They've got a very busy life. So is there any tricks or something like tips on how someone can sit and actually, consciously dedicate that time? Because when a lot of chaos is happening around you, the last thing what you want to do is sit still and be mindful.
Hmm. And that's exactly what you want to do, is to sit still and be mindful. Those are the times, because when we allow ourselves to go into this, and this is how it was at Apple, when I allowed my mind to just spiral, and this has happened over recent years as well, because I also battled with alcohol and drugs and toxic relationships, so my mind would just spiral, and then I thought the best thing to do is just to keep myself busy, do the next thing. I got to do this. I got to do work on this project and then this one and this one. Oh, and now I have to take this call now. Now I got to respond to this email. You're just keeping the mind busy, and we're not allowing ourselves to truly feel. So if there's an entrepreneur who says, I'm too busy to meditate, I'm too busy to be mindful or sit still, then you have to ask yourself, why are you allowing yourself to be so busy? Because the way basically how we interact in this life and how we interact in this world, we attract more of it. It's through the law of attraction. So if we're allowing ourselves to be so busy, then guess what? There's going to be an infinite amount of opportunities to be more busy after that. And you will never find a moment because you're allowing this to come into your existence. It's not necessary. So if you find yourself, if you want to do something, I wouldn't call it any like a tricks, but if you want to, let's say in between work tasks, if you're going from a 2-hour training webinar with your team or with some other people that you're collaborating with, and then before you go on to the next task, then just take 3 deep breaths in that moment. It takes literally 30 seconds. Just close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and then move on to the next task. That's a really short way to pivot your day throughout the day. And if you do this multiple times in your day, you do this every day, then you start feeling the benefits of being mindful. Because being mindful is the art of being aware. It's the art of being present in your moment to moment. And if you're not present in your moment to moment, and you're always thinking about what is going to be happening next or what happened before, then life is going to fly by. And then you'll get to a point where it might be too late to do the things that you really want to do in this lifetime. It goes by pretty quick.
I would set reminders, and I would also on my Apple Watch, you've got, sometimes I think it's automatic, you've got mindfulness. The mindfulness app just comes and it says like you do the breath work, and I've done that with the watch, and actually it's pretty good because it just guides you through it, which is pretty amazing. That helps me a lot. And you know what I've also found very helpful, and it's something that I found that you also do, and that is the sort of going up in the morning and touching the mirror with your hand, which is kind of the Mel Robbins high five me as well. And I add to that and I say, I love you. And I look myself directly in the eyes, I touch the mirror, and that really helps me connect and feel appreciated first thing in the morning, kind of rewires your brain for a very sort of positive day. Could you talk to me about that? I've seen that you've done it as well. I've seen it on your Instagram as well. You call it the self-me, was it?
Self-me, yes. So self-me, and you raised some excellent points here as well, because how you start your day is how your day is going to go. So if you start your day off busy looking at your phone and emails and so forth, then your day is going to spiral in that direction. If you keep your mind busy as soon as you wake up, then of course you're going to invite more of that into your life. But if you start your day and just dedicating, doesn't mean I spend an hour and a half each day in the morning when I wake up on myself before I allow myself to enter into the outside world with my phone and computer. But you don't have to spend that much time. It could literally be 30 seconds, as I mentioned. It could be a minute. It could be 5 minutes, right? So it doesn't have to be a long period of time. Just whatever you can create for yourself will be very thankful for. When it comes to self-me, so there's this the selfie phenomenon that we know about, right? We have our phones and we're trying to take the best image of ourselves, the angles, maybe to post it on social media for those likes and comments, even though we say that we may not do it, but I think generally a lot of people do it for those reasons. And self-me with an M-E at the end is an invitation to take a mindful self-portrait of yourself with your mobile phone. And it's more of an emotional check-in. You can use it for really anything that's going on. You can use it for what you're grateful for today. So I may ask myself one or two things. I may say, how am I feeling in this moment? And after I identify what I'm feeling, then I take a photo with my mobile. right? But then I cover up the screen, not the camera, but the screen, so that I don't see myself, because it's not about that perfectionism. I don't need to look so perfect in this photo. Photo is really for me. If I want to share it on social media, I can go ahead and do that. But this is really for me. And the idea is to delay instant gratification. So as soon as I take this photo of myself, just identifying what I'm feeling right now, or what my emotions are, or what am I grateful for today? I kind of think about what I'm grateful for, and then I look into my phone and take that same photo. Then I just put the phone away, put it in lock mode, standby, and maybe I won't look at it until an hour from now or 24 hours from now. And then I can reflect back on this photo and then see if I can have a conversation mentally with this photo. Maybe it'd be great to do this after meditation, because you can become more connected to this photo. And the idea behind delaying instant gratifications, because we have a lot of information flowing through us on a day-to-day basis with WhatsApp and emails. So this is really an opportunity to invite yourself to slow down. Slow down through self-me, and then you can allow yourself to use your mobile phone as a mindful tool instead of something else, like this thing that we're tethered to get work done and to respond to people's calls and set up hangouts with friends. Let's use this as what it's meant to be, an electronic tool. And that's something that masters us, but we master it. And to untether ourselves from it. And through mindfulness, through even mindful mobile photography, such as Self-Me, which is part of this, that's an invitation to do just that. Become more mindful with our electronics.
I actually got close to your technique, the self-me technique, and I kind of use it in a different way, and that is to check in with myself. Sometimes, as you say, you're busy, lots of things are happening, calls, clients, team, and so how I've started using it, and I think your method is kind of the completion of that. But how I kind of started using it as a check-in, I would take a picture just with how I'm feeling right now. No visible expressions. No, you're not forcing anything. You're not smiling like you said. And if your expression is like that, what is that trying to tell me? Or are you looking tired? Or are you looking fatigued? Or maybe you're looking happy. But that is how I've used it as a way to check in and create a journal of to see my progress throughout the day. And if something is not right, then I know I need to change something. And I think that's one of the benefits of being mindful and meditating, is that you become more aware of not only your surroundings but yourself, and you get back that control.
Absolutely, Seth. Yeah, and it's also important to note that if we're looking at our self-me's, for example, if we feel like we are being harsh on ourselves by describing, oh, my face doesn't look so good, or my hair, or this and that, if we're being judgmental to ourselves, because the idea of it is to be more of an observant of the self-me, then instead we talk about our photo from a third-person perspective, right? Oh, this man or this woman is looking this way, maybe looking a little tired. What could this man be saying back to me? Why is this man tired? What is this man? What is this man? What has he been through? What is his experiences? Maybe have a dialogue with this photo, and what is this man trying to tell me to maybe do for my next step in life? What am I doing right now? Maybe I need to have more mindful moments. I don't know. To be inquisitive with this photo and have this dialogue with this photo as if you like, and you can journal about it as well. Fantastic, because journaling by hand and paper is very, very effective. Some of us type it up, but there's been studies. I've seen Harvard put a study out there that when you write by hand, it actually helps with memorization. You can retain the information much more efficiently. They did a study with college students, and those who wrote notes compared to typing up notes, the ones that wrote notes outperformed the students that typed up notes. So there's a lot of studies on this. But yeah, excellent points there, Seth.
Yeah, journaling is very important. I think it somehow connects your brain and you kind of get it out. And I think one of the things that I found helpful is journaling. So when I have a problem and I'm faced with something, I write it out, and it kind of half solved it. And I think these little sort of type of techniques, the mindfulness, the breathing, the journaling, taking a break, checking yourself in, looking at the mirror. are very helpful, and I think people don't appreciate them enough. And I think, and they should, because it actually helps accelerate your productivity in the long run, and in that, your business grows. And I think most people don't know that, and not just the business, in all areas of your life. I like to think that our mind and our body and our spirit is like a weave of baskets, right? So it's not just independent of each other, but as you move one thing, all the other things move. So as you get better, all the other aspects of your life get better as well.
Completely agree there. Yeah, everything intersects in life, everything.
Well, let's talk about creative thinking. As you obviously use a lot of creativity in your work, and to be an entrepreneur is to be very creative and to think out the box, especially in today's highly saturated market. Can you tell me how, for example, entrepreneurs can tap into creative thinking in their daily decision making and problem solving?
Sure. Yeah, to tap into one's creative thinking, it's really about, well, just partaking in things that feel good to you. So let's say for me personally, I love doing photography. My photography has evolved over the years from doing portrait photography, doing weddings, engagements, special events. Now I use photography as a way to allow people to see their inner selves, their true selves. So maybe we do a meditation before, maybe we do a hypnosis before, and then we take these photos. Maybe entrepreneurs want to brand themselves. Right? I worked with entrepreneurs who wanted to have branded photos, but I'm not a traditional branded photographer. So I'm not gonna go out there and just take photos of you and have you pose a certain way so that you can use that for your social media and your website. That's fine and dandy if that's all you want, but I'm all about the inner work. Why do you want these branded photos? What are they going to represent? What is the identity that you're trying to share with the world? Right? What is it that you want to share and become in the world? So then once we do that inner work, then we can take the photos afterwards, and those photos are going to show the real and authentic you. I'm not going to pose you. You're just going to be out there doing your thing. So for me, it's tapping into my photography. It's creating mindful time to connect with photography. And I don't have to be taking photos of entrepreneurs. I can go out on a Saturday. I've dedicated every Saturday morning now to going out into nature and reconnecting with nature and the trees and the smell of the forest. And I take my camera with me. And I'm not really a traditional landscape photographer, but I love capturing photos of pine trees with the fog in them. So you get the fog between the trees, and it just looks very majestic to me. And I capture that because it allows me to be very mindful with my camera and connecting with nature as well. So it's creating this time for me to go out and disconnect from everything else that I'm doing and go out in nature and be with only with me. I pack a lunch with me, some water bottles, and I just do my thing out there. And I take as much time as I want. There is no like I have to leave at a certain time, come back at a certain time. So for entrepreneurs to connect with anything creative related, if they have an existing creative hobby, tap into that. Create time for it, even at least if it's once a week. Okay, and it doesn't have to be a lot of time. You can literally spend 5 minutes on it. If you like to paint, draw, create music, or even listening to a beautiful song that you really admire, but listen to the song in a mindful way. So a song is what, maybe 2, 3, 4 minutes long. So be with the song, close your eyes, and pay attention to the beats, to the lyrics, if there's any lyrics. Pay attention to every single sound that comes in, and just see how the sound comes in is just as quickly as the sound leaves as well. So that's one way to just really tune in to music itself. Now, if you don't have a creative hobby, explore, experiment. If you've never had a pottery class, go find a pottery class and play with it and have fun with it. If you've never drawn before, go to their art store, buy some crayons. I use crayons. I use these colored markers and pencils. I've actually done this with clients and workshops before with photo clients, and just spend 5 minutes doodling. Have fun with it. Make stick figures. I don't like anything that is creatively driven. Explore it. See what's going on in your community with maybe some meetups that are going on that are creatively driven, and join a local meetup. Do something outside your comfort zone, because by living outside your comfort zone, as they say, that's where life begins. we cannot stretch ourselves and reach like consciousness and live in this place of pure love instead of a place of fear and self-doubt and not feeling worthy. But if we want to go into this place of love, then that means it's about expanding what we're currently doing right now. If we're finding ourselves under a lot of duration of stress and overwhelm, then perhaps something needs to change. And yeah, by tapping into these little activities for a short period of time, once a month, once a week, whatever your time, your schedule can permit, can really open up a lot of doors for you in your mind. And you won't know until you actually explore this.
You talked about self-doubt, and in fact, self-doubt is a killer. One of the crazy best ideas that I've had, and I'm sure other people struggle with self-doubt and imposter syndrome. What techniques do you recommend for entrepreneurs struggling with fear and limiting beliefs?
So if an entrepreneur is struggling with fear and self-doubt, I would say again, it's about where is that even coming from? We can we can journal about it, we can talk to friends about it, family about it, but until we get to the root cause of this, and I think in my experience, there are people who are looking for fast fixes because we live in the world where things just are coming so quickly and there's a lot of saturation and things are just rapidly happening right now. But that's not how like this is meant to be for the human psyche. It's not meant to go into this in this fast pace. So there are no quick fixes. There are band-aids you can put over things, over self-doubt and fear, like journaling and just going for a nature walk could be a band-aid. But until we go into the root cause of what is going on within us, then we're always going to be in this constant state of self-doubt and fear. So if an entrepreneur is feeling self-doubt and fear, then look into where is that coming from. And that can come through meditation. Meditation is very, very powerful. We're going to circle back to meditation because although for me, it used to be such a simple concept, and I used to do meditation. I was doing it for years and years, but the type of meditation I was doing is more new age meditation where I'm constantly thinking about what I'm grateful for, my future visualizations. I'm in think mode in these types of meditations. And I'm just thinking and thinking and thinking. I'm not allowing myself to just be. So if you're experiencing self-doubt and fear, then the next important thing to do is to just be with yourself. Sit with yourself and feel. Allow yourself to feel. A lot of us are not allowing us to feel this self-doubt. We experience it, doesn't feel good, but then we busy ourselves with the next task, with the next conversation. Just don't do that. Like, just be with yourself and let go. And that's another big thing too. Not resist anymore and let go. But that means tuning into yourself. And now some people like myself, I needed to go through hypnotherapy to do that deep work because talk therapy didn't, it barely touched the surface, but it was the hypnotherapy that worked with my unconscious to really get into the root cause and identify what it is that's been causing me to drink so much, to do so many drugs up until that point. There was nothing anybody could say to me that was going to deviate what I was doing. I could read a book, you can recommend a podcast to me, and then that would be great too for in the moment. But until I actually get to the root cause of what's going on within me, which a lot of times it's how we were viewed from our caregivers growing up. That's where the self-doubt and fear comes from. That's instilled within us. So maybe it's hypnotherapy, maybe it's another type of therapy, or maybe it's some sort of coaching. Right, but true meditation, I will recommend Michael A. Singer. Michael A. Singer, he is an author that I very much value. And he has these books. One of them is called The Untethered Soul. Another one's a surrender experiment. And here he talks a lot about the meditation and coming back to a seat of awareness, to presence. So yes, connect with yourself, lessen the busyness within your day, and allow yourself to truly feel. And go and feel your thoughts as well. But not to engage with them is the important thing. Feel it, let it pass. Feel the next emotion, let it pass. If we become engaged with it and we cling to it, then we start identifying with that. Our identities are based on our upbringings, on society. They are not reality. They are just these fixations that we've created for ourselves. It's about breaking apart or deconstructing the self.
And if people want to get in touch with you to do the work and to deconstruct, develop, and evolve, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I would say my website would be the best way, joeycollazo.com. Also, my Instagram, I have a project called Inner Lens. So it's like a play on words with photography and lenses. So it's that inner lens within ourselves. And my username on Instagram is We Are Inner Lens. And also on LinkedIn as well with Joey Collazo.
Great. Well, thank you, Joey. I think you've covered so much, and I just want to leave it there. I think I've definitely learned a few things, and it was so great to have you here. And I'm sure so a lot of people are going to get in touch with you after this to do that inner work and to advance both in their life and in business. So thank you so much. And what's next for Joey?
What's next for me is I'm looking to build retreats here in Tenerife, potentially exploring with a one-day retreat. Initially, I was thinking about a full week, but I think I'm going to start small and then build from there. And also connecting with local businesses here, hotels, for example, to offer workshops to their clients. So tap into the tourism that we have here in Tenerife. We have a lot of tourists coming in, and it would be great to connect with them and exploring the world with my talks and workshops, even on an online platform too.
Amazing, amazing. Actually, you need to send me that because I want to look at that retreat as well.
Sure.
But anyways, thank you, Joey. All the best, and I'm sure I'll see you around in Spain somewhere or in Tenerife.
For sure. Thank you so much, Seth, for this opportunity. It's heartfelt, and I'm very grateful for you. And yes, looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Likewise.